But let's talk about
board games.
A softer rain. How about that? A gentle rain, our spotlight game this week.
The Hail edition? No. All right, let's start over. Go ahead. What's our spotlight game this week, Doug?
It's a Gentle Rain from Incredible Dream Studios. It originally came out in 2021, but the more commonly available one is 2024. The designer is Kevin Wilson, and the art is by Chris Bilheimer and Victor Kozra. It is for one player or more. It takes about 15 minutes and is for ages 8 and up. The lilies of the lake only open their blossoms in the rain, and only rarely do all 8 kinds of lily bloom at once. So why not sit out in the rain and see if you can catch raindrops in a bottle? In a Gentle Rain, one or more players cooperatively try to bloom all 8 lilies before you run out of tiles. You flip over 1 tile each turn and add it to the lake. You must be sure to match up all the colors on the edges of the tile you are placing. And every time you complete a square of 4 touching tiles, a lily blossom opens between them, matching one of the 4 completed flowers that make up the square. The game ends when you run out of tiles or place all 8 blossoms in the lake. If you run out of tiles, your score equals the number of blossoms you placed. And if you place all of the blossoms, your score equals 8 for the blossoms and 1 point for every remaining tile. A Gentle Rain is a solo game, but can also be played cooperatively with each player taking a turn. Trust us, this is the most fun you'll have getting caught in the rain. So that is a brief overview on A Gentle Rain. And I'm going to be honest, Michael, I was not expecting much out of this game. Listeners of the podcast know I'm not a solo gamer. So the idea of saying, oh, this is a great solo game, fell on deaf ears for me. However, this game is really good.
Yeah.
And I've had fun playing it by myself and with my kids.
Yeah.
They have enjoyed it.
I don't talk about this as a solo game. Not anymore. It's the way that, I don't want to say that I've marketed the game in my own house, but when you have games coming in and out of the way that we have games coming in and out of our house in abundance.
Yeah.
This is one that that I really enjoy showing people, and really starting with the turn structure of, no, just take a coaster and set it down. And no, it's not my turn. It can be anybody's turn. You want to take 2 turns in a row? Go ahead. Is it a solo game? Yes. Is it a game that can be played by an entire team of people? Yes. I think the sense of trying to figure out that puzzle together, I really enjoy playing A Gentle Rain with other people. And I play a lot of games solo, but for me, I get more joy, more pleasure, more engagement out of playing this with other people and going back and forth for 10 to 15 minutes and just seeing what our score is.
Yeah.
It's for me, if I'm playing it individually, it's a lot of work, and it shouldn't be, but my competitiveness, my goal oriented of, I need to beat my high score. I know that when I played this game 75 days ago, I scored 16. I got to get higher than 16. And whereas if I'm playing with another person, it really does kind of soften, and the flow of the game and the back and forth shines. And maybe that's just unique to me as a horrendously hyper competitive solo board game player. But playing with other people, man, that's where this game has really shined for me over the last several months.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I mean, for me, this is a solitaire replacement. And for a guy that doesn't do solo games, the thing that I don't really care about solo games is the amount of setup, bookkeeping, and just that the processes of, okay, how do I score? What, is there a bot I need to be managing? What am I doing on my turn? That type of thing. And that dissuades me from playing a solo game. This one, I have it out on the kitchen table or near the kitchen table. And it's like, oh, we have 15 minutes before we need to go do something. It's like, I'll shuffle those things up and deal it out like I'm playing solitaire and just play it. And it's like, I'm not keeping track of my score. I'm not logging plays. Like, did pretty good. Oh, it did really good there. that one was a disaster. And it's so fast to just pick them up and shuffle them again and start playing again that to me it really reminds me of the feel of playing a game of solitaire with playing cards, without the even the playtime.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just simple. I don't, the mental energy is right at the right level of I'm not taxing myself too much, but it's crunchy enough that I'm engaged and enjoying what I'm doing. And the fact that I can just, I had a blast playing with my kids. And, and it does have that thing of like, let's run it back. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
And they want to play it again and again. But that's also how I felt when I'm playing solo. Like, oh, because you can get, similar when you're playing with cards, like you have a pretty good idea. It's like, yeah, this one's not going well.
Right.
A little bit into the game.
I'm going to be lucky to score 5 or 6 here.
Yeah. And other times like, ooh, this is going pretty good. And you go and so I just, like I said, I was not expecting much, and I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I have. And for, I don't know if that's more of a claim than it should be coming from a non-solo gamer, that this is a really good solo game.
Yeah.
Or if it, if that means more or less, I don't know. But for me, this is in a sweet spot of solo games for me that didn't require a bunch of setup, doesn't require a bunch of rules. I can play it. I can quit in the middle because, it's time to eat, without feeling like, I got all this stuff set up. No, just put it back in the box.
Yeah, and I want to jump. You said a lot of good stuff there, and I want to jump in on one thing that you said towards the end. The interruptibility of this game is awesome. This is something where neighbors could show up at your house. If you're a teacher and you wanted to do something on Friday afternoon over your prep and not get into your grade book, and yet, a crisis appears at your door, you could just walk away from your desk and maybe come back to that game at the very end of the day, or even just pack it up and take it home with you and not feel guilty about, leaving a game incomplete. There is something very rewarding about the game as it unfolds. And what's unique for me with the Gentle Rain is that in a lot of solo games, I have to get to a very specific point and pause before I can walk away from the table. And what I mean by that, if I'm on a campaign or if I'm in the middle of a session, I know that I'm going to need 75 to 90 minutes at the table to really get through that thing. And with a Gentle Rain, I don't. And if something comes up, I can just walk away from the table and go back to it a moment later, a day later, and just sit right back down and pick up where I was. It's a unique game that way. And I don't want to do a ton of comparisons or trash other companies. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But with, a lot of folks love button shy games to play solo, right? 18 cards, it's in a wallet size. And I have had a lot of success in the past, and a lot of those titles I also enjoy. But that occupies a lot of those button shy games, and there's a ton of them, but they occupy the next level of my brain where I'm not as easily interrupted or as pleasant when an interruption occurs.
Yeah.
Right? And in a Gentle Rain, something come up was like, oh yeah, that takes my attention. No, I'm done with the game now, and now I'm back into the game. Very, very unique flow, very, very unique to transition from one task to another and be able to come back to it.
Sure. All right. Well, that is our spotlight game this week, A Gentle Rain.